Hi, welcome. This is Jelle from Growing Bonsai. Today we're going to work on this big juniper, and as you can tell it has a very nice trunk line, has some old deadwood, some nice deadwood on top, but all the foliage of this tree is here down below. So what we're going to do today, we're going to graft new foliage on the trunk line so that in a few years time I can remove this branch and build a new tree from the foliage that I'm going to graft on it. So if we look at this tree, it's very nice. It's a very old mature trunk, and we have a live vein coming from the roots here on this side, and it's going up, goes into this branch. The branch comes all the way down, and then you have all this foliage connected to just this branch. Ideally I have some foliage somewhere here, which is why I picked a point here. Here you can see the bark is gone on this side, but the bark is not alive all the way to the end. Last year I already tried to graft foliage here on the trunk line, but as you can tell, the foliage has died. So it is time to clip off the old foliage, take a look why the graft didn't take. Looks like there has been no merger at all between the donor and the receiving plant. Here you can see it has just closed back. This is the cambium that has rolled into the gully that I made last year and has not connected with the donor. So now I need to find a new spot. When you decide to graft branches onto an old trunk like this, it's always important to find out where the live areas are of the branch. What is very clear is that here there's a lot of caddis that has grown out from below the bark, and here on top you have the same thing. So in this area there must be a lot of activity. Although you can use the original species for grafting, I could in theory graft this branch on there. I'm not going to do that. As you can see, this is very loose foliage. And that's another benefit of grafting. It's not just about getting foliage here, close to the trunk, but at the same time I'm also going to put Itoigawa on there. This is a nice, naturally compact growing juniper. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the young plant, I'm going to attach it to the tree, I'm going to graft it right on there. For that I'm going to have to remove the little stump here, clean off the bark on this area, and here with a nice bend I'm going to press it into a little groove, attach it, add cut paste. After you put the young branch into the gully on the trunk, what will happen is that the cambium layer will start and try to repair itself. So the cambium will grow quite strongly. The cells will connect, and with that slowly you will get an infrastructure of veins going from the donor into from the receiving end into the donor branches. Once that happens, you can normally see that on the outside of the branch quite clearly. You can cut off the main roots and you're only left with the whip that is connected to the branch. And at that point you can also slowly start reducing the main foliage. I know it can be very tempting to now start trimming this tree to give this one more power, but this is a mistake. To really get the tree to join, you want the receiving plant to grow strongly, the donor plant to stay healthy, growing a little bit weaker. So we're going to fertilize the receiving plant. We're going to put both of them in a semi-shaded position so the wound doesn't dry out, doesn't overheat. And I want the donor plant to grow very, very quickly so the bark can grow over the cut area. If I let the donor plant grow very quickly, it will fatten up and it will break out of the groove that we created. So this one is going to grow slowly, this one is going to grow as fast as it can, and by the end of the season I hope to be able to tell you this graft has taken. Then, by early spring, I will start reducing this foliage, because at that point these roots should take over, feeding the cereus. Summer has come and gone, and it is now closing into fall, and you can tell the donor is still alive. And if we look a little bit closer, we can see that all the cut paste has started to crack, so that's a good sign. On the other hand, I don't think the donor has been growing all this much. So I'll start fertilizing it a little bit now and water it a bit more than I've been. And yeah, let's see what it looks like in springtime.